Welcome to Crimson Guitars, welcome to the MF kit build, taking a great kit guitar and making it incredibly awesome. Thank you for watching. If you haven't watched the earlier videos, go back and check them out because you're missing out. If you have, well, here we go. Don't forget you can win it. I am back. I'm slightly less dusty than before and I am in a mental quandary. That's my default setting, actually, to be honest. I don't know what to do. I've been unhappy with the tin foil in the hex sound holes for a while. It did not burnish out. It did not become smooth, and this is problematic to me. And I thought, maybe I can get away with it and just leave it because, you know, let's see how it looks after the stain. But almost all of the comments are going, Ben, what are you doing? That just looks nasty, you know. And I listen to you, and you're right. So the question is, what do I do? Do I put stain on and then see if it somehow magically looks okay, or do I redo that in some way, shape, or form? I have Silverleaf. I wanted to use tinfoil because it is something that is easily accessible. It's interesting. It's a non-standard material. I'm trying to do a fairly basic kit build using hand tools predominantly, and this is anything but a basic kit build. Anyone can buy Silverleaf on eBay, or many other different places. Maybe I'll just go that route. So the question is, do I strip off the tinfoil as it currently is, or not? And I think really I kind of have to. Will I? And I have to do all of this before the staining. Do you know what it feels like? It feels like I'm procrastinating and avoiding doing this staining because I'm still not certain I like the idea, or I can achieve what I want to achieve. It's so nerve-wracking. Okay, I am going to very quickly. I'm not unhappy with the foil on the inside of the hexagons. It's on the bevels on the top that it just looks wrong. So for starters, I'm going to remove the stuff around the top bevel, see what happens. Some of them need to be tidied up anyway because of sanding. So I'll do that super fast in like 1,000 time real life speed. And then while I'm doing that, I will think about what happens. Maybe pink stain. Pink stain? Yes? No? No. Silver. So, Silverleaf. It looks basically the same as tinfoil. It's the same sort of, it's a very similar feel and color. I mean, I could just use paint. Anyway, okay, let's grab a tool. Or do I want to use a file, maybe? The more I think about this, the more I think that all I really need to do is get some good quality silver paint and use that. Silverleaf is fine. It's the same process. You use a size, you put the size on, that's basically the glue that goes on that the leaf sticks to. You put that on, leave it to cure till it's almost tacky, till it squeaks. You want a squeaking size. It's hilarious. You put it on a big surface and then run your thumb or your finger down and go, and your finger squeaks, and that's when it's ready to stick the foil on, either silver leaf or gold leaf or copper leaf, etc., whatever you fancy using. We've been through that sort of process already. And frankly, I need to make a decision about time. I am going to remove all of the foil that is in the hexagons here, and I will then stain the guitar, and I will then use a paint of some sort in the hexagons, and we'll do that. So I've got a fresh blade in my scalpel, and let's remove hours and hours of work, because it didn't work. You've got to be prepared to fail utterly if you want to achieve anything. Period. Okay, this is looking much, much better. A little bit of sanding, a little bit of reshaping of the hexagons, and then it is time to paint and stain. I am going to paint the internals of the hexagon silver. And this idea is 100% stolen from one of you fantastic viewers. I am going to paint the wire mesh, the steel mesh, black. I love the sound of that. That just, yeah. LEDs will be happening as well. Black, silver, but all of this has to be done after I've stained the guitar. So, yeah, a little bit of sanding. And we'll see what happens. This looks so much better. Do I even need to paint it silver? Well, let's have a look at that. I've run out of time in the day, but this is all tidied up and clean. It looks so much better like this. I don't even know if I want to do the silver paint. I really don't know at this point what's going to happen. The stain. I'm there. I've done some tests. I've had a few more ideas. I have stripped all of the foil off the hexagons. I'm not even sure if I'm going to paint those. What I might end up doing is painting the inside of the hexagons, not the chamfers, and probably black rather than silver. I am planning on having the chamfer around the outside of the guitar, the chamfer on the inside of the joint here. And in there, I want all of the maple bits of those sections to be the phthalo blue. And then we are probably going to have the sort of black to blue burst effect going on. If it looks good, it looks good. If it doesn't look good, I'm going to sand it back, do some more carving, and start again. But I think, based on the test, there we go. I've been doing lots of experimenting. This is now with a single coat of penetrating guitar finishing oil, and it's worked very well with the lines that I've drawn. And I'm going to do something super cool with this. Let's get staining. Where are my gloves? Gloves. Aha, gloves. I am using the spirit-based stain. We do a similar range of colours in water-based. Now, this is going to be... I don't want it to be very wet. I am going to stain all of the maple blue, and including all the chamfers, and if it's too wet, it will bleed over the edge. Now, it's not the end of the world, because I can resand or scrape or whatever the mahogany. I would like to try and avoid hitting the mahogany at all. Anyway, the first thing to do is the actual guitar, and stain along the grain. Not along the grain, across the grain. I'm staining with the flames, and essentially now, there is a reason why I'm doing the blue first, and why I'm doing the blue across the entire instrument. And that is because I suspect I might just leave the instrument blue. I'm not entirely sure yet, though. Now, it is at this stage that I will find any issues with the sanding, any dents or anything like that. And I might well need to do, seems there's a little bit there that I'm going to need to go back once this has dried a little bit and resand, just to get the correct level of quality. Now you can see I'm moving from the middle of the guitar to the edge. If you have stain on your bit of paper or a rag and go from the edge in, you do run the risk of, if it's very wet, and this goes for finish as well, you run the risk of having a drip. So you squeegee a drip of stain off the rag, and then that goes down the side, and you just have problems, really. Okay, there are a few little spots where I'm not that happy with the sanding underneath, which doesn't really surprise me. Doing this so soon after applying stain is slightly problematic, but yeah, I'm in a rush to see what happens with this build. So I'm just going to do a little bit of light sanding, get rid of a few scratches, and we will recommence. So essentially, do that, apply more stain, and you're sorted. I'm going to stop filming though, because this is boring. Done a bit of sanding. It's surprising with the amount of funny things going on with this build, how many bits and pieces I couldn't actually see. But that is, this is just what happens. I want to see if I can make this a little bit more even. Now, if there is any blotching, what I can do is just lightly sand down the entire guitar. I'm not expecting that to be required though. Now I'm both buffing off any excess that could cause streaking potentially, and taking a layer of stain off the aluminium inlays here. building up quite nicely. But I think it's going to be worth it. With a big enough pad of tissue, I should. See, that's fairly dry. This section is difficult. I'm going to have to do that with a paintbrush. This section is okay, as long as that's not too wet, because I've got a hard edge at one corner and a hard edge at the other. It should be a simple case of doing that. I'm having fun. You having fun? Let me know in the comments below. No matter what happens, the insides of these are going to be painted in some way, shape or form. So I'm not worried about anything other than the chamfers in the sound holes. Now, well, what do you think? It needs work. That's looking a little bit iffy. That looks pretty good. I do need a burst. Essentially, we've lost the accentuation of these chamfers because it's now all one color. I want to see what a burst looks like if we go up sort of a black from here-ish. So it kind of starts fading. So we essentially got the standard blue in the middle with the black burst starting about there. So a thin strip of blue. We might end up putting a coat of black over the entire guitar and then having the purple or the pink going over the black, and that creates a burst in a three-tone burst, and then the blue is just the highlights around the edge. I don't really know yet. It depends entirely on what this looks like. Black, spirit-based stain as well. Now this is going to remove some of the blue as well. So I want a nice burst, which is going to be difficult with a rag, for one, very difficult, but I also need it to be a clean edge on this side. So really, not only a clean edge on that side, a clean edge on the chamfers. Hellfire, this is problematic. So using our test piece, it seems that I just go for it. This is nerve-wracking. What happens if I just... I'm happy, relatively happy. Some slight tidying up to do just there. I'm going to make that line a little bit sharper. So essentially, some 320 sandpaper wrapped around a sanding block like that. We bring back the sharpness to that hard line. Back with the blue. And I just want a little edge there. I like this purple color, and we're going for it. It involves the pink stunning stain. All right, I'm taking some of the pink stain and just applying it over. It's taking some of the black off, taking some of the blue off, and just adding a little bit of interest and a slightly different color. There we go. There we go. We have a little bit more color on the inlays than I'd hoped. Although that will come off as I apply the oil. And if it doesn't, I will have to scrape it off or something like that. Essentially, I'm layering up stains now. It's not the ideal way to do it. Rather than penetrating into the substrate, it's sitting on top of whatever I've put before. Now for some fun. I have some purple stunning stains shots. It's been diluted to about half, and I have this tool which basically picks up a ball of stain or ink, and with that you can draw a line if you get it right. Here, come on. Here we go. And well, we're going to draw some lines. Now, I want a ruler. I've got 3 pieces of masking tape on the back of this, which basically means that when I'm drawing, I'm not drawing next to the edge of the ruler. At least the edge of the ruler isn't touching the body. Only my tool is. And then essentially what I'm going to do is line that up and draw a line. I'm going to let this cure overnight. Cure, correct word? I don't know. I'm going to let this sit overnight and off gas as much as it wants to, and then I'm going to put a single coat of oil over it, and it is going to pop. It's going to pop. It's going to pop. And I'm acting like this is the end of the video, but you're going to see that oil tomorrow, so go away. See you in the morning. The time has come. Okay, this is cured overnight and or off gassed or whatever, and I'm going to start applying oil. I've lost my gloves. There we go. Oh, who needs a glove? Now, I am going to start with a penetrating oil. It's less I love this stuff. This is the fun bit. I'm going to have to be so careful. I have masked off the neck pocket because I am, despite the fact that this looks like an S-type neck pocket, I am going to glue the neck in. Now, on a normal guitar that didn't have a million holes in it, I would just pour the first coat on and be done with it. I am actually going to find something to decant this into, and I'm going to put it on relatively gently. Here we go. Look at that loveliness. Some of this stain is going to come back, and I'm hoping that the aluminium here is going to end up looking... There we go. Haha! So look at the difference. Less purple, more silver. And I'm going to get that effect first. Yeah, it is looking more blue and black than purple. I'm lightly applying. I'm not rubbing as particularly hard. And I just want a single coat pretty much everywhere. Well, there we go. I'm going to let this cure for about 10 minutes. We've put the penetrating oil on, which doesn't penetrate very deep when you've got multiple coats of stain, etc. And gosh, that's looking good. So 5 or 10 minutes. It depends on how warm your workshop is. The cooler it is, the longer it takes. And it's until it gets tacky. So as you run your finger through it, you'll start to feel a resistance. And that's when you wipe it all off. This is not a lacquer. It's getting slightly tacky. And I'm just going to lightly, I don't want to take too much stain off. I'm just going to lightly remove excess oil. Now, the end grain has sucked up a lot more of the penetrating oil than the top, which is to be expected. And I think I am actually going to apply a second coat now before we move on to the high build. Also, I'm not going to today be doing the final finish because essentially, I'm doing this so that I can glue the neck in, and there's already an oil finish to stop any glue spooge affecting the top and stain retention, etc. I'm not going to be able to resist putting another coat on there. So I'm going to let this settle for a while. put another coat on. And then that's us done with the body for now. Next video. Next video. Next video. We get to see finally what I'm going to do with the neck. I've had plans for the neck from day one. Whether they actually see the light of day, who knows? Anyway, this is looking so good. Okay, I put one more coat on here. It's just going off, and I'm going to take the excess off gently. I'm in love with this guitar. Thank you for watching the build. Don't forget that you can win this guitar yourself if you're watching this in July 2018. If you are not, check out Crimson Guitars anyway. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. Click like, subscribe, notification bell, Patreon, all of it. I'm too excited. Watch the next video.